Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome. It's good to see you. It is good to be seen by you. I, of course, am the one and, as far as science is aware, only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, and welcome to the live stream. Now, typically, we do kind of a more formalized thing, more formal get together, but in this particular round, it was just Friday, and I just decided to kick back a little bit tonight. Didn't have all of the Gamma World group here. Didn't have all of the AD&D group here. So tonight, you're just going to have to put up with the Delver for a little while. And welcome, one and all. Let's see who do we got there? Yeah, Dying Breed, good to see you. Vaughn Gifford, hello as always. Joshua Garlock, Clark Whitten, Local Gumby, hello to you all out there. Jack Photon. But anyway, so yeah, it's good to see you guys. I, of course, am just going to kick back and have a little bit of a libation. So, you guys feel free to do whatever. Unregistered Hypercam, still there, still unregistered. But anyhow, Bashaker 2000. Anyway, I'm just, hanging out tonight. Just hanging out. But anyway, so yeah, it was just kind of a thing, and I was like, maybe I should go on, maybe I should not go on. Orbital Air, good to see you. But I figured, why not? I'm always here. I'm always available to talk, guys. Like I said, I would do it if there were even one of you folks out there. You know what's cool and going on right now is Claricon. Dungeon Minister has got his little convention rocking and rolling. That's over on Twitter. Let's spy on him. You guys let's pop open the Twitter feed and see what Dungeon Minister's got. What Claricon? He said he'd be live streaming, and I missed his first live stream. It was only a few minutes long, but I threw him a super thanks anyway. Which I wouldn't have the ability to do that without you guys. So I just want to remind you that if you're just stopping by, if you're kind of not sure what we're doing, what's going on, please do click that subscribe button. Click the bell icon for notifications. Because 5 nights a week, we get together on this live stream and we talk about all sorts of gaming orbiting topics of the classical role-playing game nature. So join us here each week, my friend. You're sure to get a smile. So let me pull this up. And of course, I do want to remind you guys that this live stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde makes the kind of adventures that they'd like to play, whether it's for the OSR, for Councils and Crusades, or 5th edition. See, I kind of switched it up there a little bit. Old School is in play at the table. You can find them at DriveThruRPG or on their website, hellebardegames.com. 4,980 something subs. Yeah, we're at like 4,985, I think. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find. Where is it? Here we go. Dungeon Minister Dungeon, and I'll show you guys. We'll see what's going on. Oh, he's got some cool swag. Present. Share screen. Render. Share. So let's see what the Dungeon Minister's got going on. Somebody 3D printed him himself and his head as a dice box. That's kind of cool. The opening feast begins. Who is that? Bandit's Keep. Saint Beckme and friends are ready. And I think that's the latest update. Live streams of the con will happen at his YouTube channel. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Dungeon Minister, I must insist that you do it. 5K by Christmas? Possibly. Possibly. So that's what's happening with Dungeon Minister. Let's check this out here. Show you guys. 4986. 4986 is the total number of subscriptions right now. So we're 14 out. I would dare say we're going to hit 5,000 before Christmas. It could happen by next week, which I wouldn't hate to see. Should probably remove that. But anyway, so that's very cool. Oh, yeah, definitely. I would say 5K by Thanksgiving. 5K by Thanksgiving. But anyway, where is it? Come here. Come here, you. Now, subscriptions are an awesome thing you can do. But something else awesome you can do if you want to support the show. We have Patreon, which is right down there. And you can join us on Patreon or through YouTube memberships for as little as $1 or $1.99 a month. Guys, at the Master Thief level, which is what I call both of the $10 levels, either on Patreon or via YouTube memberships, every month you get a free mini first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons adventure sent to you. So don't miss out on that. That is $10. $10 gets you that. Clark says the hoodie looks awesome. Clark, did you order a hoodie? That's fantastic. Delver dances like Gene Kelly at 5K. I couldn't dance like Gene Simmons at 5K. Forget Gene Kelly. Michael Connor, hail unbreaded. Good to see you. So anyhow, so that's pretty much what's going on. Next week we have got to think. Now I owe Jack Photon a big apology because I forgot I had scheduled back in September. We had some wonderful people from Brave Alice on the show. Risa was in the audience. We had Agi in live chat with us, with Matt Finch talking about some swords and wizardry stuff that was going on. But that's not all that Brave Alice has got going on. So next Thursday, I believe, we're going to have somebody from Brave Alice on the show talking about some other cool RPG stuff they've got going on, tabletop and possibly computerized too. But we'll see how that works out. And I think now Jack Photon and I have been discussing having him on the show because a large part of awesome that goes on this show and a large part of donations come out of the goodness of that man's heart. And let me tell you guys something. My producer will hear from your agent. Sorry. But yeah, all the Librum of Gameful Conjurations, all that cool stuff that Jack Photon does is out of the goodness of his heart and wallet. So I don't see how I can't and shouldn't have Jack on the show. So Jack will be not next week, but the week after. is when we'll do that. Michael Mertig, hello. My producer is bribed with milk. Yeah. But anyway, so that's all coming up. And I think probably starting in December, we're going to go into low power mode for a few weeks. You guys think it's a long time off. Let me tell you younger folks out there that are like, oh, he's talking about December. That's months away. No. Bing, bang, boom. And then, you think the Mariah Carey apocalypse is bad right now because you see people making memes about it? No. Then it's going to be like, holy crap. So it's probably the back half of December. I'll be doing whatever advent calendar, if I get an advent calendar opening for you guys, and any interstitial videos that come along. Who sent the Star Trek RPG set? That was all Jack. That was all Jack. But don't worry, I won't go away, and I'll have Christmas presents for folks. Fear not. Fear not. So, yeah, don't worry your pretty little heads that I'll just vanish. Bashaker asks the important questions. Hello, Miss Bella Games, you darling. How are you? Miss Bella Games will be on the show, also live. You remember our agreement, right? You're bound by contract. You know that, right? I'm teasing her. I'm teasing her. But anyway, let me see. Oh, if I had $500 in disposable income, what would I suggest you buy for 80s TTRPG items? Question asked. Question answered with a question asked. What do you have? What do you have? Miss Bella Games, I'll send you an invite right now if you give me an email address if you want to be on. So if you're talking, you're just starting from zero. If you're talking, you're just starting from zero. You've never played before. $500. I would say Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual, 4 copies of the Player's Handbook. You can get those cheap, print on demand, and then pod copies of classic AD&D modules. I'm talking G123, D123, Q1, A1 to 4, S1 to 4. And if you can fit all that into 500 simoleons, my friend, you have got a world of adventure. Now, I would almost suggest, if you have anything left over, of that $500, get a PDF of the World of Greyhawk box set. That's what I would do. Bob Gnarly's keyboard is broken. It's just spitting out random letters and numbers. I'm sorry about that, brother. So that's what I would do. Bashaker 2000. That's it. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. I'm going to get so much hate mail over this. Let's see. So let's go to Drive-Thru RPG. I'm going to add this to the screen. Let's go to Drive-Through RPG. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeon Master's Guide. All right. So we need that. Why are you showing me this 2E stuff? This wonderful, wonderful second edition AD&D stuff. When I'm looking for something a little different. Come on. Okay, so we're gonna have to dig a little bit. That's not it. Let's try that. Dungeon Master's Guide. There we go. Okay, all right. Hardcover, standard color. We're not picky here. That's $24.99. I'll edition more if I want, Vaughn. $24.99 plus, you guys can't see my calc, but whoops, no. $24.99. I'm doing this for you, folks out there. Standard color, Player's Handbook. All right, those are $17.99. Let's add them up. $96.95, so $100. And finally, a Monster Manual, $21.50. Well-a-z. So, a Dungeon Master's Guide, 4 copies of the Player's Handbook, and a Monster Manual, setting us back $118.45. So let's see. You guys out there talking in numbers. Interstate 6, is there a traffic problem where you're at, Bob? Let's see. All right. You know what? I'm going to front load this. See, the World of Greyhawk. Now, unfortunately, this one you can't get pod, but that's okay. So let's add. You can take it to a local bindery and get it done. $128.44. Now we need some modules. Let's see. T1 Village of Hamlet. You get a PDF and a book, so that's plus $11.24. My friend, we have not yet impacted that $500 in a serious way. All right. Oh, we got to get Keep on the. We're getting Keep on the Borderlands. So plus another $9.99. Because we got the money to spend here. All right. Let's do S1 Tomb of Horrors. Because we're getting the whole S series. That's just a thing that's happening. All right. Tomb of Horrors. What is this garbage? What is this trash? Why is that there? Horrors from the tomb. Did you mean? Oh my God. Turn to the Tomb of Horrors. What is this nonsense? S1 to 4 Dungeons of Dread. Oh, hey, no, this is perfect. We can get them all. They're all complete here. So let's do 16 for that. I feel like Wheel of Fortune. The Catamaran for $2,000. So we can get 16 for that. And let's see. A1. We'll just throw A1 Slavers in there. Ah, good. Well, he's looking for D&D, so clearly we're going to throw all this garbage in. I can't stand this. A1 Slavers should return. All right, thank you. Thank you. Slave Pits of the Undercity. It's a PDF only, unfortunately. So, again, you need to save some of this and support a local print shop. All right. It looks like they're all $4.99. So plus 4.99 plus 4.99 plus 4.99. So far, we're up to 185.63. We haven't even crested. Half of our budget. All right. So we've got Slave Pits, we've got Hamlet, we've got Dungeons of Dread. Let's go with, oh, yeah, G1, 2, 3 against the Giants. I hate you to death, drive-through. Against the Giants. There. Oh, we can get that one printed. Plus 9.99. All right. You get against the slave lords, you'll save money. Interesting, Joshua. I'll have to check into that. All right, so we got against the Giants. And we can get D1, 2, and D3, and Q1. Looky there. D1, 2, Q1, and D3. So that is plus 15 for all of those. 210. How about that? Now, let's see. Forgotten Temple of Tharizdun. We're going to throw that one in there. That's another PDF. My brother. Bashaker 2000, my friend. $215, 61 cents American. And you've got the essential everything you need to play first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. You got a campaign world. You got you got all the rules. You've got the classic modules. All right, you people. All right, you people. I6, right. Ravenloft. You bunch of crybabies. All right. Plus $7.99 for Ravenloft. There, 223.60. So that's it, my friend. If I had some more to spend on anything non-D&D, I'd suggest. Let's see. Gamma World's not bad. 80s. Oh, holy crap, guys! How could I be so terrible? Call of Cthulhu, classic Call of Cthulhu, guys. Let's see. Actually, I would send you off-site. I would say go to Chaosium and buy the reprint of the Call of Cthulhu First Edition set, which I have shown off before. It's a little spendy. I think it's like $59.99. Let's just go ahead and call that $60. Let's check out Gamma World. Gamma World. Now, I've only ever played why won't you search for Gamma World, please? I don't understand. All right. $16 for a printed out copy of Gamma World. So there, we're just at 300. Oh, you know what? You know what else I'm going to throw in here? Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. There's an absolutely gorgeous PDF of the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay rules. Let me see. Come on. Fourth, third, come on. Let me see if I can find maybe 1E. I don't see it, but I know it's been in here. Role play. But no, I've seen it in there before. I know for a fact that I've seen fantasy role play. And of course you're going to do that. Cubicle 7. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And you're still not showing me what I want to see. Anyway, the point is, the point is specifically, yeah, I passed it. Too bad. Sorry. But there you go. You're in for about $325. Dude, you spend the rest on miniatures, a battle mat, terrain, dice, and load up some snacks. So, as far as I'm concerned, oh, there it's okay. So, first edition. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see the. Oh, is that it? There we go. PDF $9.99. So yeah, $210 or $310. $310. You got science fiction, dark fantasy, high fantasy, horror. And all the accoutrements you need to play it. You go to one page rules, Michael. Oh, are you talking about 40K? Yeah, no. We don't give Games Workshop our money in this house. You see nothing over here. You see nothing. That's nothing. Actual items? I mean, I don't understand your question. So guys, Bo Shocker, I hope that if you're going to throw down $500, this is what you do. You can get all of this stuff print on demand, send it to Lulu, and get it printed up. Yeah, don't use eBay. eBay is stupid. If you're buying computer parts, like if you want to build a solid 4th gen system around DDR3 with a 1070 so you can play most games at medium high settings except for like the brandest newest AAA games, eBay all the way. Don't even fart around with anything else. Anyway, well that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to help you guys, right? Because that's what I do. I'm a helper. I help people out. I bow and I scrape. I genuflect. I get tornado warnings in the middle of the night. Is anybody else's phone going off with like a worldwide alert? Have I looked at one-page rules? No, I sure haven't. Yeah, it could have been an Amber Alert. Yes, James, that was awesome. That's wonderful of you, James. Thank you. Those cracks, those like those like crushed in spots in the plastic, we can fix those. That's fixable. You need patience, a light touch, baking soda, and super glue. What? Oh, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Jeremy is a really good guy. I've known Jeremy since, in the real sense of knowing Jeremy, probably about 10 years now. But our interactions go all the way back to 2003, 2004 on Portal of Evil. So, anyway. I'm all out of booze. There's none left in my glass. I'll suck on the dregs for the rest of the evening. I'm all out of booze. So to answer Jeremy's question, and thank you very much, Jeremy, for the super. Anybody can super, by the way, if you want. As far as I'm aware, the 100-sided die is it. And it is about as damn useless as you could think. It doesn't stop rolling. They're awful. I don't recommend you get one for tabletop gaming. As a joke, if you're a completist, sure, fine, whatever. But 100-sided is the biggest. Oh, that's very cool, James. There were a couple of computer cases like that. The Amiga 1000 case had all the developers' names in it, including a replica of a paw print of, was it Chuck Peddle? I think was one of the developers. His dog, Mitchie. They did a paw print and put it inside the case. I would love to get a 1E screen, one of the few things I don't have. It's funny, in the before times, and I'm talking about like the early 2010s-ish, it's like the like this big Misspella games, the ones I've seen. Because, I mean, any smaller, and it's just a sphere that won't roll. Or that won't stop rolling, rather. So I have old games in boxes. Yes. An actual first edition book from 79 versus Pod. How's that work? Right now, if you don't know how to bargain hunt, if you just go to eBay or Adall used books, you're going to pay about $100 a book. That's going to get you a Dungeon Master's Guide, a Player's Handbook, a Monster Manual, and like 3 or 4 modules at most. It's stupid to shop on eBay for classic TTRPG stuff anymore. Anyway, so Boshocker. I'm sorry, it's Bushocker. Bushocker. I've been saying Boshocker all night. Bushocker. Conventions are good too. Actually, I know some people aren't crazy about them, but I am. The nice folks at Noble Knight, yes, they do tend to charge kind of market prices, but I don't feel like there's an FU behind that. And I've had very good interactions with Noble Knight. Michael, I'm up I-4 from you. Basically, I'm halfway up I-4 from you. That's fair, Vaughn. Anyway, I'm losing this. Conversation's flying by tonight. So Bashaker, I'm going to put this up here because Bashaker is asking a good question. Okay. Broken boxes. Are you talking about like corner flap tears? Yes, there is. Super glue. I know what you're thinking. Super glue. Don't use Elmer's glue. It takes forever to dry and requires too much. Super glue, nearly instant bond with the paper fibers, stronger than it was before. Just be careful with it. Now, fixing dished-in boxes. I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Well, kind of show you guys how to do this. Let me see if I can find a box real quick. Oh, Star Frontiers. Great place to start. Okay. So I got a Star Frontiers here that I do need to fix because it's my Star Frontiers from back in the day. So basically, I'm going to be gluing those corner tabs down. But look on the inside of the lid. Look on the inside of the lid. You see how it's kind of dished in? What you want to do, once you've gotten the corners repaired, and do it after you get... yeah, Michael, basically. After you get the corners repaired, what you want to do is get a spray bottle and mist this side of the cardboard. Just mist it. Don't get it sopping wet. You want to set this on a flat surface, and then you're going to take heavy books, smaller than the perimeter of the inside of the box lid, and you're going to set them on there. And what it's going to do is you're going to leave that there for a minimum of a few days. And make sure they're not books you care about. That is what I did to fix my copy of Star Trek the Role-Playing Game. It was very bowed in. Very bowed in. I misted it, face down on a table, stack of heavy books. And it'll flatten it out for you. And then you're good to go. So then you've got your box lid flattened out, you've got your corners repaired, you've got a fairly good restore job, short of sending it somewhere. One thing I can tell you though, don't tape. Okay? You're just further damaging the box in a different way. Now, if the edge of the box is crushed, like here's your box, if it's pinched down but not torn on the corners, probably if you stand the box up and weight that edge and do it exactly the same way you would with cover dishing, you can probably get that smoothed back. So that's what I would do with that. Jack's over there pulling his hair out because he's like, that's not how you restore boxes! So I hope that helps, guys. I hope that helps you, Bashaker, with your box issues. I know, Miss Bell. I just went out and hunted things down. Will Lulu print the modules we can't get print on demand? Some people have said yes, and some people have said no. They're cracking down, and they won't print up D&D books for you. So I don't know. Maybe. Is who Seth Skorkowski? That's too many K's in a name. That's like one, two, three. Yeah, that's like 3 K's. Let me see if I can find. Is that? Oh, there it is. I thought it was tucked away in a hard to find place. Let me show you guys my repair job on my FASA Star Trek. And recognize that there's some stuff that you're not going to be able to fix. Oh, Bashaker, thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. Wow. Wowee. Thank you for the super sticker. I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see what your sticker looks like, but I appreciate that. Tears like this, you see that? That's just, sort of printing this out again and putting it back. But for me, like this guy was just completely bowed in. Actually, the back is kind of bowed in, so I may fix that as well. Bob, that's the question of the night, isn't it? Why don't they... Pod... It costs nothing to not print the modules. It costs nothing to not print the modules. Why not give the option? You're literally just pushing it to a printer. It's not like you're printing the stuff beforehand and hoping somebody buys it. So this schizophrenic approach that drive-through has to the availability of things, they could sell Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 1E like hotcakes if that sucker was available pod. Imagine if the entire first edition AD&D library was available pod. And guys, I have some of it, and the people say like it's blurry and it's terrible. It's not. It really isn't. Wandering Monsters, thank you for wandering back in. So what's your super chatted question, Wandering Monsters, now that you're back? I'm kidding. Well, if you guys like Seth Skorkowski so much, why don't you marry him? Apparently, he's a better 1E YouTuber than I am. Here, Cyberpunk. It's Morrowind. I could read the instruction. Oh, you're still here? I thought you'd all run off to listen to Seth. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm teasing you all. Yeah, Joshua, the quality is fine. Like, so when I was at GaryCon, it occurred to me, hey, there's Jeff Easley. Jeff Easley produces arguably one of my favorite pieces of artwork in all of first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and that is of my waifu Drelsna. Guys, I can fix her. Okay? Live in that big round room of hers so she doesn't get hungry because she's under David's Wondrous Lanthorn. I can fix her. Anyway, so I ran over to Black Blade, which is run by, the booth was being run by my good buddy, Alan Grohe, Grodog. He's been on the show before, and we've talked a lot of Greyhawk. Anyway, they had a copy of Lost Caverns of SojaConf, the pod copies. They basically print them and then sell them for a little tiny like you're paying us for the cost of shipping them and bringing them here. You know, if even that, maybe they lost lead with them. And I got my copy of my pod copy of Lost Caverns of SojaConf autographed not only by Jeff Easley, but also by Errol Otis, because of course he does that great cover. I've been on less than an hour, Road March. And guys, let me tell you what, literally just kidding about, I don't think I've ever watched Seth Skorkowski. Clericon does look pretty dope. Dungeon Minister is awesome. Greyhawk Grognard is fine. I'm glad you could catch us too, Road March. Wow, 34 of you guys are hanging out, and that's great. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight until we just run out of steam. Until I run out of steam, because I got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Anything on camera? Anything you guys see that you want to ask me about? Ask away. Don't ask me about the blurry edges of the field of view, because that's the nature of fisheye lens. You can't fix it. Tim Kask. Would I entertain a top secret game? Don't know if I do it on stream, Bashaker. Don't know if I would do it on stream. Would I run it if I had people who asked me? Probably. Probably. We'll see you around, Todd. Be well. So anyway, Local was asking me about Tim Kask, maybe Star Frontiers. Star Frontiers could be sooner than you think, and that's all I'm going to say about that. You know, Tim Kask has got his opinions about things. He's got a lot of great info from back in the day. Do I consider him like the final word? No, because, you know, I feel like when like him and Mike Mornard start talking about, you know, that Gary had this barely concealed contempt for people that wanted to play modules, and that they created first edition AD&D as a joke to take money from all the ripe sucks, I just tune that out. And that may be Mike Mornard himself and not Tim Kask's opinion. So if it sounds like I'm casting opinions on Tim Kask, I'm not. He may not have those opinions. But I mean, the guy certainly, he was there and he did that. But there are some things that I know, based on talking to lots of other people, just aren't the way that Tim sees them. But that doesn't mean I think Tim's a bad person. That doesn't mean I think Tim is not an authority. Village of Hamlet into TOEE, or keep on the Borderlands into... Oh, Clark's over here asking the difficult questions. Keep into Hamlet into TOEE. Yeah, that's right. I did that. Yeah, I just flipped it upside down. I just blew your worldview. James, I think that's a good. I think that's a good point of view. The midwife of AD&D. Because honestly, if you go with the idea that the Temple of Evil Chaos in the Caves of Chaos is an outpost of the Temple of Elemental Evil, the machinations of Zugmatoy, the skullduggery of Loth, the plots of Lareth the Beautiful, the nuclear chaos that binds it all together of Tharizdun, you see where it all kind of meshes together. Yes, that is Space Hulk. That is Space Hulk 2nd edition. 4th edition is behind it, or 3rd edition is behind it, and I have the rules for 4th edition. Unfortunately, I don't have the rules for 1st edition Space Hulk. I would love to have a 1st edition Space Hulk box set. I have over here, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, I have Hero Quest, the one that came out 2 or 3 years ago, and of course, I have a copy of Dungeon. You might also notice over there, no, in fact, you can't see it over there, but I have the Dungeons and Dragons Electronic Labyrinth game. And I also have Blood Royale, which is not fantasy, it is historical based, and it is from a time when Games Workshop did very cool things. Do I have a mighty fortress? I guess you could call this a mighty fortress, yes. How do I transition to other modules and adventures? Bashaker just hitting me with the thunkers tonight. How do I transition to other module adventures? Okay, so when we're talking about G3 to D1, they are literally mated up edge to edge. There is no transition. The players can take those rickety mine carts across the lava river in the uttermost depths of G3 right into D1 and kick off like that. But if we're talking about G1 and G2 have teleport devices that take you to G3. But if we're talking about, say, the Temple of Elemental Evil to G1, Overland Adventures, my friend. Overland Adventures. Zugmatoy. But Bashaker, I will break out that Greyhawk land map and plot out hexes of adventures. And sometimes it spins off into mini campaigns and branches off, and the players want to find out who lived in this abandoned castle. Why did we find a +1 sword? Why was there a black dragon in that swamp? And it becomes a player-driven investigation campaign at that point. Lareth with the 70s feathered hair, yes. Oh, wow. Okay, so first of all, here's what you need to know about Loth and her handmaids. I did not play GURPS, Sean. I did not play GURPS. Now, our co-host, Kyle Schuant, was a GURPS dude. Kyle's the guy to talk to about GURPS. So, this is conjecture, but I think this is true conjecture, it's conjecture. And I'm doing whatever I want tonight, so you guys, there's no time crush on this, but I've talked about this before. So my oldest daughter watches a cartoon on YouTube called Overly Sarcastic Productions, and the young lady who VAs the show does, despite the title, she does... Yes, they would. They function as wands, Damien. They function as wands. But one day she was watching an episode about Japanese ghost stories and shrine maidens. And it was then that I had an apotheosis. I had a realization. They're not expected to do so. Hypercam, they're not expected to do so. So my apotheosis was this, my realization, Gary Gygax loved Asian things. I burned a DVD of Harukai Kadokawa's 1990s samurai epic, Tencho Ticho, Heaven and Earth, for Gary, because I own the Laserdisc. I actually own that film on Laserdisc, if you can believe it. And I ripped and burned my Laserdisc to DVD for Gary. He loved Asian things. So when I was watching Overly Sarcastic Productions, despite the title, that's right, James. Oh my gosh, you guys are hitting. Okay, I'm gonna have to start flagging these questions as they come up, because I got this to get to, and then I want to answer like Wandering Monsters questions. But OSP talks about mythologies and stories. Like, she's talked about H.P. Lovecraft stories, but she's also talked about Greco-Roman myths. She's talked about American Indian myths, which I fully recognize that for a subset of the Native American community, that is a very real religion. I'm just saying, as she has framed it. But anyway, I caught an episode with my daughter where she talked about the Yorogumi, the shrine maidens or shrine ghosts, shrine guardians, if you will, or spirits, just spirits in Japan. And I was reading up on, I was watching the video, and she described the shrine. Now, understand, this is 1,500 years old. Some of these legends and lore. She describes shrine maidens and forest yokai. Some of them have, brace yourselves, the head of a beautiful woman and the body of a spider. Does that sound like anybody we know? Now, some shrine maidens can take the form of beautiful women, or they are amorphous mist-like beings, and they are called yokai. Look at the spelling of the yoklal, the handmaidens of Loth. Formless beings that can also appear as beautiful women, and they're spirits. I think Gary took Loth, the yoklal. I think all of those came from Gary's readings of Asian myth, and he ported them as Loth and her handmaidens. That is my think on it. Death Angels, we are currently sitting at 4986, or possibly 4987. So, yes, that is that's Loth, man. That's Loth, and her handmaidens are shrine maidens from Japanese myth. Now, the shrine maidens in Japanese myth, they tend to be varied depending on what story you're hearing. Like, you know, fisherman or woodsman drops his axe and a web comes out and grabs it. Woodsman reaches down to grab it. His whole hand gets webbed up, and he's dragged off and never seen again. Depending on the telling, depending on the era, depending on the storyteller, that is either he's dragged off to hell, or he's dragged off to be the happy husbando of spider waifu. So it literally varies on what the storyteller is trying to tell story-wise as to whether or not this person is dragged off and devoured like an insect, or, you know, goes off and lives in a romance manga. So that's my that I firmly believe that the yokai and yoklal are essentially the same things. Yeah, that's also very true. Let's not even don't even want to. Anyway, so somebody asked me a question and I missed it. Let's see. My favorite thing about B2. Okay, so my favorite thing about B2 is probably the I'm going to say the Temple of well, it's a tough call. When I was a kid, I was fascinated by the presence of a secret room that everyone in the dungeon, including the monsters, had forgotten. and there's a skeleton in there with broken legs, ruined thieves' equipment, and a pair of elven boots. There's no explanation as to why he's there, how he ended up there, anything. I love it. There are a million stories right there. There are a million tales you could tell right there. Hit him with a rod of resurrection. Bring him back. I don't know, Jack. I don't know. I see the Asian influence almost immediately, but I mean, your mileage may vary. I just think Yokalal and Yokai are too close to not be, and they could be the same. I mean, the creators of Doctor Who could have gotten those influences from Japanese myth, you know. Oh, okay. Say, I don't watch Doctor Who, so I'm over here like I just maybe okay. With spider female becoming dinner is just a difference in timing. What you guys get up to in your bedroom is your own business, Kinnick, but I'm not gonna, we're just gonna move right on past that. Does my rod tell self-depreciating jokes? Mine doesn't. I don't know what yours gets up to. But I feel like there was someone's. Oh, right. So B2. We were talking about B2. Yeah, it's the little touches. It's just the little touches in there. I gotta tell you, if you guys watch our game on Tuesday nights, our AD&D game, the fight against the Minotaur was so anticlimactic. They hit him with the wand of paralyzation that you can find elsewhere in the dungeon, and then just hacked him down. That's it. Game over. Death Angels, all of this came from Greyhawk first. Greyhawk was the first. Death Angels, do we need to get out the Greyhawk set and go over Greyhawk deities for you real quick, my friend? That's right, Miss Bella. All right, let's see. Dig through here and find this. It's in an AD&D World of Greyhawk 2, I think. Because they're actually in a couple of places. Okay. This is for Death Angels. Thank you, Adobe. That's exactly what I intended to do. I definitely meant to drag this window out and almost close it and end the stream. Hate Acrobat. Have I mentioned that tonight? Michael Dale asks a good question. Do I recommend running B1 before B2 with new players, or is it better to I go straight to the keep. I'm going to be honest with you. I appreciate what's being done in B1, but I just go straight for the keep. In fact, I would go in reverse order. I would go B2, B1. Because once you've learned how to dungeon master, you can then populate the second level of Quasqueton to your liking. So let's see. Let's share again. So let's Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Window to share. So yeah, Death Angels, prepare to have your mind blown. All right, so let's talk about the deities of Greyhawk. These are some quasi-deities. We have Heward, Keotum, Kelnanan, and Murrayland. But wait, there's more. We have Bakub, Celestian, Cuthbert, Elana, Erythnal, Farlangan, Heronius, Hexter, Incabulos, Istis, Ayuz, Nerol, Obed-Hai, Olid, Mara, Fultus, Ralashaz, Raxavort, Tritherion, Ula, Wastri, Zanye, and I think that's it. And let's open up. Let's see. Where was it? World of Greyhawk, book 3, is it? Oh, that's the map. I always do that. World of Greyhawk, book 1. And let's see here. Deities of the World of Greyhawk. We have the greater gods. Hey, that's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Death Angels. I appreciate it. You're not being dumb. The only dumb questions are the unasked questions. So the greater gods, we have Baeri, Bakab, Incabulus, Istas, Cord, Linder, Nerol, Palor, Procan, Rao, Tharizdun, Eula, Weejas, and Zulchus. And then the lesser gods, we have Alatar, Atroa, Beltar, Birai, Blarid, Brom, Celestian, Deleb, Elana, Erythnal, Farlangan, Fortubo, Geshtai, Heronius, Hexter, Jorami, Kurel, Lear, Lerg, Lydia, Miris, Noribo, Obad-Hai, Olidamara, Falcon, Fultus, Phaeton, Primus, Ralashaz, Raxavort, St. Cuthbert, Sotilion, Cyril, Telcher, Tritherion, Volunius, Wentna, Zanye, Zerbo, Zodal, and demigods Ayuz, Rode, Wastri, Zagig, and Zuakin. Now, you might notice Loth is not in that list. That is because Loth is a demon princess. She is a demon princess, and she is not counted as a deity since there is not a major following to her. There are at best a few tens of thousands of drow that attend to her unnatural lusts. Did Stephen King get No, Cuthbert is actually a saint. There is a Saint Cuthbert. You would have to ask someone. You know what? Ask someone. I'm here. You don't need to ask anybody. The real Saint Cuthbert. Cuthbert of Lindisfarne, circa 634 to 20th of March, 687, was an Anglo-Saxon saint of the early Northumbrian church in the Celtic tradition. He was a monk, bishop, and hermit associated with the monasteries of Melrose and Lindisfarne in the Kingdom of Northumbria, today in northeastern England and southeastern Scotland. Both during his life and after his death, he became a popular medieval saint of northern England with a cult centered on his tomb at Durham Cathedral. Cuthbert is regarded as the patron saint of Northumbria. His feast days are 20th of March and 4th of September. And Gary probably just liked the name or the concept and decided to add him. So when St. Cuthbert was a cleric, which was his deity? Probably Hieronymus or Pholtus, if I had to wager a guess. And Hexter. I thought for sure Hexter got dragged into forgotten realms. Oops. That is correct, Dying Breed. Loth is not in the Greyhawk deity. She's not a deity. She is a demon princess. No, Hexter started in first edition. Now, interesting thing, someone asked Gary, and I don't know what the circumstances were, but intelligent swords inspired by Saberhagen. No, there were intelligent swords well before Fred Saberhagen wrote his books of swords. Stormbringer, Hornblade, The Legend of the Singing Sword. I got completely off track there. Anyway, Gary, non-human deities, said he tended to not use them. Like orcs were Hexter worshippers, for example, and so on and etc. I tend to lean more into that, but your mileage may vary. Yes, the non-human deities and demigods covers way more than Greyhawk. Those are not merely Greyhawk deities. They span multiverses. So if you gotta have halflings worshiping Yondala instead of St. Cuthbert, like a good common sense halfling would, and you gotta have 60 gojillion drow deities, ooh, a good drow deity, then yeah, you can go with other stuff like that. No, Krynn is the world of Dragonlance. I don't know if he was a hobgoblin deity by anybody's mention, but like I said, Gary mentioned that like evil humanoids would worship Hexter. Because you go and you look at like who, the demon lord or demon prince, I should say, the demon prince, who looks like an emaciated, mangy gnoll, so he gets worshipped by gnolls. But I mean, for my money, I would think that like your regimented badass humanoids like hobgoblins, Dispater. That is correct. Yes, OD&D had gods, demigods, and heroes. What did you type, James? What was that? You just keyed into my chat, James? Would you care to repeat that so the entire chat can read it? All kidding aside, you fucking with me. You think you're slick, but I see you fucking with me. No, all kidding aside, I don't think I've ever actually. I'm not going to do this with invective. I'm not going to be faux angry and pretend like I'm about to break one of my monitors in half. But I'm gonna say this. To me, the Kender are so conceptually sickeningly twee. And the way that the players who play them are instructed to play them, the let that they're given to be that continuously and endlessly dickish to the party, and the amount of plot armor that by description the DM is supposed to give them is... It so frustrates me that if somebody said, hey, will you run Dragonlance? And I said, yes, but I will take a penknife and I will cut out all the parts of the player's handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and source material that refers to Kender. They simply don't exist. I'm sorry. Tasselhoff was a kleptomaniac halfling. The end. They are the original. It's what my character would do inlet into Dungeons and Dragons. I would dare say that they are one of the big three pillars of that guyism. The lol random, that guy. So Bob asked why I don't like Forgotten Realms. I don't like the structure of Forgotten Realms because so much of Forgotten Realms became make sure the players are here when Elminster shows up to do an awesome thing. And there's some other stuff that Greenwood wrote. That now look, let me just say straight up, guys, you are absolutely welcome to include whatever elements you want into your game. I think, okay, if you're running a game and you're using the myths of ancient Greece from deities and demigods, and you have players who worship or for whatever reason find themselves in the court of Aphrodite, look at her write-up. We all know what Aphrodite is all about. And that's it, you know? We understand that's what Aphrodite is going to be like. And if you create some... Maris is in Greyhawk. Maris is the goddess of love and romance. And you would expect that if you found yourself in her court, in the heaven that she occupies, that a goddess of love and passion and romance, well, there's going to be passionate, romantic things happening around you. Ed Greenwood took that to such an extreme, going to such a description level, that he entered the "Dare You Enter My Mystical Realm" levels with a bunch of that, which just kind of ooks me, because I'm a very... You do. Fade to black. Okay, moving right along the next day, kind of dungeon master. And when he talks about how this goddess will teleport players naked into her bathtub, and, you know, or, you know, that if they show up, their clothes will be falling off, and that just puts my teeth on edge. No, I think you'll have Hephaestus kicking down the door and throwing you off Olympus. Thoughts on Oriental Adventures? For a book credited to Gary, allegedly written by Francois Freudeval, but actually written by Jim Ward. I mean, it's okay. If you want to add Asian themes, Eastern themes to your AD&D campaign, it's a fine place to start. I have no particular animus. I've just never felt necessary to... Bill takes his bath's clothes on. Very funny insert name. Oh, Michael Dale, all of the... Okay, so what's my favorite setting to DM? Not setting as in Greyhawk, but dungeon, temple, planar dimension, dense jungle. Dungeons. Love me some dungeons. Dungeon can mean many things. Natural caverns, ruins, or underground tunnels that are 10 feet wide and 10 feet high and extend in directions and turn at right angle corners. What type of encounter gives me the most joy to DM? Ooh, that's a tough one, because I like all of those things. I like something that all the characters can put a little bit of themselves into, and a character can put themselves into most of those things. You know, a puzzle might require strength to overcome, not just the magic user sitting around and casting knock and saying melon, trying to get it to open. Yes, I take baths, Bob. I take showers like a grown-up. You know, a crazy trap is where your thief steps in, or your cleric with locate traps, and your magic user with knock. But you know, a fighter can maybe bend bars to get out of the trap. All of those things, Michael, can contain the talents of an entire party. We did a deep dive on Lost City. It gets the Delver thumbs of approval. We like us some Lost City. Is TOEE overrated? The really good parts were written by Gary Gygax. The really bad parts were created by Frank Mentzer. So you judge that accordingly. Chalice requires a liter of blood from every character. But no, Temple of Elemental Evil, I think, has a lot of good in it. I think it's got a lot of slog in it. Yeah, Frank's not a good guy, in my opinion. I am of the opinion that Frank is not a good guy based on my interactions with him. Many other people in the TTRPG business share that opinion. Joshua, that's one I've always wanted, but I don't have it. I love what Jacques did in Deities and Demigods. That's enough almost of a Lankmar setting for me to run Lankmar AD&D. If they used that and extrapolated on it, 2 thumbs up. Could Death Cycle be placed in Greyhawk? I don't know the Death Cycle either, I'm sorry. Is it good, Bob? Because I tell you what, we are around here. If you want to stick around here, you got to be a fan of the Lankmar books. I'm so glad I bought those paperbacks when I did the Borealis Legends, because that there's literally like stuff in here that, unless you've got like issues of Weird Tales and also the books as they were published by Ace and Daw over the years and everything, that is the most complete collection of Fritz Leiber's Fafhrd and Grey Mouser stories. Nerd says, would love to play a Labyrinth setting. You mean like the movie with Bowie, Jennifer Connelly? Write it up. Watch the movie, man. That's good to know. That's good to know. I'll have to check that out. I'll definitely have to check that out. Do I have any experience with a Thieves World box set? No, I don't. The closest I have is somewhere around here. I have Mayfair's Thieves World board game. Where should you get started with Lankmar? The books. I'm not being a smart aleck. If you can get the books, let's see. You know what? Let us go over to Spamazon. Let's go to Amazon. Fritz Leiber, Fafhrd and Grey Mouser. Let's see. Why are all these... So Fafhrd and Grey Mouser 8-book series you can get on Kindle on Amazon. I'd start there. Yes, I did say Spamazon. Is someone... Hang on a second. I've been calling it that since like the early 90s when it first started. Scamazon. Yeah, Scamazon. Bob, that is the sad truth, and I agree with you. Your dad got to watch Buzz walk on the moon, and we got to, I actually faintly remember the last manned mission to the moon. I have a very, very, very dim recollection. And when I told my dad about this before I passed away, good night, Kenneth. No, I like iced tea more. I'll drink coffee. When I was up in Alabama a few weeks ago, I went to when I got up the morning before the Tide game. They had a little K-cup machine in the hotel room, and I fixed myself a nice cup of coffee with that. We'll see you, Clark. Take care. Oh, we just haven't gotten to it, Vaughn. Just haven't gotten to it. Where were we? Yeah, it's probably got something to do with the rights. They don't want to touch anything that's, not, I don't know. But no, I have faint recollections, and I told my dad about this. Like, I remember this. My dad was like, yes, that is exactly it. When I was 2, standing between the 2 front seats in my uncle's RV watching the 1972 Apollo launch, the last Apollo launch. So I have actually in person seen an Apollo mission launch, and it was the last one. But yes, I went from seeing that to seeing a bald corporate fascist ride a giant dick into space. Alabama versus LSU tomorrow. Roll Tide. So, yeah, Amazon. eBay is worse than Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I did okay on eBay sales for a while, but geez, that what they were taking from me. I don't like Kindle only books, but if you can put up with them, there should be an option to, like, I don't know. Anyway, you guys can go here and get the Fofford and Gray Mauser books. Yep. I was standing outside when that happened. Since I have extensive knowledge of AD&D multi, as individual initiative per side, AD&D is meant to be a fast-paced, quickly moving game. I prefer initiative per side. It just goes a lot faster. For your first AD&D campaign, I would say Greyhawk, but dig this. Blackmoor, the land of black ice, exists inside Greyhawk. It touches Greyhawk. It's coterminous with Greyhawk. You can move between the realms in that fog shrouded area to the northwest in the Flaness. So don't limit yourself. 1972 Miss Bella Games. (1972). Ah, ouch. I haven't seen it. Everyone tells me to see the Blackmore documentary. I haven't watched it yet. First, how do you decide the PC order? It depends on what they're doing. Then we get into segments. Weapon speed breaks initiative ties. But weapon speed can also you can win initiative. I can roll a 1, you can roll a 6. But if it's just you and you have some long, complex spell, I may get over to you and stab you a bunch before your spell goes off. Yes, you're wrong, Bob. You are incorrect. Dave was a friend. Gary was a friend. The Blooms were the businessmen. So. But as far as deciding the PC order, yeah, it comes it comes down to things like weapon speed, how many segments it's going to take to do something. I mean, an arrow is released right at the beginning of a round. You know, first missile fire goes to initiative winners. So having a bunch of archers just hanging out with you in the dungeon to potentially pepper evil or opposed, at least, magic users over and over again with arrows is never a bad idea. I think the most accurate statement that I can make at this hour about Gary and Dave, since I was not there, I interacted with Dave very, very little. I interacted with Gary a lot. I've got an interview with Gary over on my YouTube channel if you want to go listen to it. And he talks a little bit about that, more about what the Blooms and Lorraine Williams did to him. But let me tell you what, there are guys who worked at TSR, people that you would probably recognize their names and like and respect, who will say without flinching, without swerving, the best manager at TSR was Lorraine Williams. Because she made sure everybody got paid on time. Yes, James, an interrupted spell is lost from memory. If the attackers do not have total surprise when they charge, the attacked may set spears or other pole arms to receive the charge. If those charging have longer weapons, they will strike before they are struck by spears. But yes, James, if you are casting a 4-segment spell, and on segment 3 of it, you're hit with a sling stone, it's gone. It requires being still except for somatic components and being uninterrupted, which is why you don't get your dex to armor class bonus when you are casting a spell. You are not dodging and juking while you're casting a spell. Casper, old school. Late night for you in Orlando. What brought you to our Sunshine State, and where are you headed back to, Casper? I too am in the Orlando area myself. And welcome. We're doing really good. We've been going for an hour 45. We've had as many as almost 40 people on the stream. Franchising convention headed back to Denver. Excellent. So many of you guys have been down in my beautiful state. Well, welcome. Thank you for sticking around. Casper, while you were here, did you get out to Gods and Monsters? I hope you did. Yeah, that's unsolicited promo shout out. If you are in the Central Florida area, absolutely, positively make a pilgrimage to Gods and Monsters. I feel you. Did the overpriced Star Wars cost almost as the whole trip? Don't recommend. Yeah, no, we've heard that. The serendipity. George is in the Denver suburbs. Casper, you're going back to the Denver suburbs. I'll tell you guys a fun story. So I was sitting on Gary's porch playing D&D. My wife and I were. And we had actually just arrived. We hadn't been there long when the group that had been playing with Gary before then was packing up and getting ready to go. And it was just going to end up being 3 of us gaming with Gary. And I jokingly mentioned to one of the fellows who was packing up and leaving, I said, hey, stay and play a second time. And he said, no, we've got to, this was in the morning or afternoon. And he said, we've got a flight out of Chicago tonight. No, that's not how explosive runes work. Yeah, Bob, that's terrible. 6,000 a night. You could have given me 600, and I would have gotten you better entertainment value. But anyway. Gary was a lot of fun for the time that I knew him. But anyway, so and the guy's like, no, we actually got to hit the road. We've got to get to Chicago. We're flying out. We're flying back home. And I asked the guy, I said, oh, where's home? And he said, it's the little town in Florida. You probably never heard of it. It's called Lake Mary. I was like, oh yeah, I'm 5 minutes from Lake Mary. And he kind of laughed and, so yeah, right. I was like, no, really, I'm in this suburb. And so he actually ended up playing AD&D with us for a while and then completely disappeared. I did not know Beverly Hills Gary. I did not, Bob. No. Mm-mm. I knew latter years Nerd Santa Claus Gary. Which is why I say during the time I knew him, I thought Gary was a swell guy. But explosive runes, see, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Let's see. Erase of files. Let's see. Spells we will never allow Private Fluffy to cast again. Explosive Prunes. So here we go. By tracing the mystic runes upon a book, map, scroll, or similar instrument bearing written information, the magic user prevents unauthorized reading of such. That's not a rock. Nice try. I found him to be an erudite fellow and an excellent host. You know, a lot of people ask me what my favorite Gary story is, and I will tell you unequivocally that it was that same trip, the one that I'm talking, or no, I think it was after that. Yeah, it was after that. It was the second time we met up with Gary, and the last time I saw Gary before he passed away. It's not going to survive the trebuchet shot, Damien. And someone would have to get hit with it. It survive, and then they pick it up and read it. No, I'm not allowing that. No, I'm sorry. You're one of those, I want to build an RPG that's a rolled up portable hole that gets mashed back into a bag of holding guys, aren't you? You're one of those peasant railgun guys, aren't you? Yes, that's my wife's cat. Nice try, though. Anyway, so Gary was having the front porch party, and because I was writing with Gary at the time, I was invited, and I thought that was very cool. My wife and I went. I am a dude that hates to be late places. Like, if you invite me to be at your house and you say dinner starts at 7, at 6:59:30, I am standing outside your front door with my hand raised, ready to knock. I'm just that way. That's just how I'm wired. So we got to Gary's house at like 6:30, 6 o'clock. I don't remember. Nobody else was there yet. It was me, Gary, Gail, and my wife. Yes, I have a dog. He's not here. He's not in the room with me. So we basically had an audience with Gary for 30 minutes before anybody else showed up. And when my wife was 3 or 4 months pregnant with kid number 2, and when she mentions this, Gail just goes all out and was very charming. She was a wonderful host. It was like we were treated like family for those moments. And so Gary and I start talking back and forth, and people ask me what I would talk to Gary about gaming stuff wise, and that sort of thing. And it's a lot of things, more of that than of this, but we just talked about dad things, about being a dad of little ones. Do we co-sleep? Yeah, we both thought that, co-sleeping was all right. Shirtless days, you get puked on and you just give up. Just stop trying to. And so for this 30 minutes or so that it's just me and Colleen and Gary and Gail, we just sat and talked not about how far an elf can throw a dwarf. You know, how many bags of holding you can fit in a portable hole. Just add stuff. That's my favorite memory of hanging out and doing stuff with Gary. I played D&D with Gary. I did game with Gary a few times. I wrote with Gary. I wrote to Gary. I talked to Gary. That's my favorite interaction with him. Yeah, I don't... arguing to me is like Grimtooth's, you know. Yes, Mrs. the Dungeon Delver does have a real name. I know how some families treat each other, James. Trust me. But anyhow, we've been rolling on about 2 hours. I don't know that I've got another hour left in me, guys. Do y'all have any questions going away? Any questions at all? Any questions? No, it's not that I don't like Grimtooth. I just don't think that, like, I think it's funny, but it kind of, you know, turns into Castle Anthrax, the Knights Who Say Knee. It's just like, okay, I get it. Ha ha. You know, you turn the doorknob and, you know, it turns out the inside of the doorknob is a cannon, and it, you know, it fires a mini cannonball through your hand, and, you know, that character loses a hand. You guys got a little less than 2 minutes. You got your silly question out of your system. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? While you guys are coming up, I'm gonna say a big thank you to Jeremy Rule for the super earlier. Thank you, Jeremy. Vaughn, thank you. Bashaker with a super sticker. Thank you very much for that. And Death Angels, of course. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Shelby Foote, a big Civil War writer, someone said he appreciated people talking to him about anything except the Civil War. I think Gary was that way after what? Probably. Read! No Dio dance in my world? Nope, sorry. So I am going to skate on this evening, guys. I'll see y'all Monday. We'll return to a normal-ish schedule then. I want to thank everybody for being here. Yeah, we'll talk about Gale some other time. But please do, regardless of what anyone else has said or done, be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Guys, life is too short to just go around being mean all the time. You don't have to be mean. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all on Monday, hopefully with some interesting news. Be good to each other. Good night.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.